Johannes, nice to see you as always. Thanks for your time. Somebody trying to get in here. No, we'll crack on now. I think they just went in the wrong door. I think they were, yeah.
Kenny, I think, yeah.
Oh, was it Ken? Was it Ken?
Huh? Kenny.
If he wants to join us.
Good news.
We'll get on to him, but
he's so eager to play.
Yeah.
He's chasing me.
Before we get to Kenny though, just an update for Johannes on Jose Cordoba and his fitness.
Yeah, some injury pain, a little inflammation in his knee, so not exactly the same as he had after the Leeds game. So a little bit different. This, of course, unfortunate for him and for us. Hopefully, and what we try to do is that we can make him available for the Queen's Park game next Saturday. That's the plan for now. But of course, we need some days for that to settle, and we also need to have him back on pitch to see how it goes.
So in terms of how you manage that, then is it just sort of rest maybe and a bit of recovery?
Yeah, a little bit of rest, a little bit of recovery, and then, of course, before that Queen's Park game next Saturday, then we have to have him back on the grass to see how it goes. Hopefully, it will be okay because it doesn't seem like something too severe, but there is some inflammation which we need to take care of.
He said it isn't quite that sort of original thing that he did in the Leeds game. With that in mind, then is it a little bit frustrating as his club manager? He's gone away and played more or less 2 full games for his country.
Yeah, that's how it is, and I can see all over the world, not only in this country but also other countries. That's what coaches they deal with. It's out of our hands, and when players are available to go, they can call them in for the national team. That's a part of it, and the only thing we do is cross our fingers that they come back and are fit. So it's of course unfortunate for first and foremost him, but of course also the team and the club that he's now out for. Yeah, at least what will be 3 games.
In terms of tomorrow night and the squad availability, where are we with Nacho? Too soon for him tomorrow night?
Yeah. And again, referring back to what I've said a couple of times now, we go easy on him. He was a part of the session today. He was one big smile out there, so that was really, really positive. So he was a part of that, and we built him up, and I think the plan is that he will be available Saturday.
Would that be the first time he sort of rejoined the group then today, or has he done bits and pieces?
Yeah, that's the first time he joins a bigger group session where all the players are involved. He's done smaller bits with less players and more one-to-one stuff also with the physios, but the first time for him with the whole group.
You said on Saturday you were kind of toying with maybe bringing Barnes with you just for his impact around the group, but in terms of your squad thoughts tomorrow, does he come into it?
Yeah, he will be. He can play, I would say maximum of maybe 20-25 minutes. But what he gives to the group, and we can just see that out there in training, it creates such a good energy, and he's at a stage of his career where he's also aware of what he can give to the group and what he can give to the next ones, and I think that's really positive. So we try to have him around the team as much as possible, and he will be around from tomorrow.
And particularly, as you said, you've said it with Duffy and McLean earlier in the season, that experience when you've got a very young group as well is invaluable.
It is, and I think, sometimes you look for answers, and I would say there can be more answers to a situation, but just looking at the situation without Kenny for 4 games now, it's been something it's been difficult for us. So just to have him back in the group, Shane is of course a natural leader for us, but also to have some of the players just on the outside to support, that will be a big difference for us. And it is just very, very important for every team out there that there's a spine going up the team with important and experienced players that can support some of the younger ones.
And part of that spine, obviously, you got him back Saturday was Angus Gunn, him. And then later on the second half, you got Gibbs and Onel on the pitch. No adverse reaction for those guys.
Reaction in terms of
in terms of a long time out and they've come back. Physically they're
physically they're fine. They are fine, and it was a part of the plan that Onel, of course, after his international trip to Cuba, that he could be available for around half an hour, and Gibbs a little bit less than that. But the plan is that we build them up shape-wise in games for now. So hopefully a little bit more tomorrow. But it was just also positive for the group that we could change the momentum a little bit also from the outside, and we know when we bring on Onel that there will always happen something. There will always be chances. There will always be, dangerous moments related to him. So that's positive. And Gibbsy is just he's a fighter for the team and can cover more positions for us. So that's important.
So taking your sense there, a little bit too early tomorrow to maybe think about starting either of those players.
Yeah, it is. It is still again. I know we all want to win. I think we do everything we can because I think the fans especially deserve it after all the support that we get and again just referring back to the away game in West Brom, it was fantastic. I think they dominated the stadium, our fans, which is also a part of the extra fight that the boys could put into that match. It's so important for us, and we will do everything we can. But again, we should not be still too affected by that, and then bring on players maybe a little bit too early, and then with the bigger risk of them having a re-injury, which will be a disaster for us at this stage. So now there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we are finally getting there, and we finally have more players available. So we do what we can.
In terms of personnel, all the guys who are available Saturday. Obviously, there's another maybe bit of work to do between now and tomorrow night. But as it stands, no issues there for the other guys who played Saturday.
No, they're ready.
And we touched on it already. Kenny McLean now available. I don't want to second guess or presume he's coming straight into your team, but it is clear the impact when he's out of the side as opposed to when he's in. But what have you missed most? Is there one aspect of what he brings on the pitch, or is it the whole package?
Yeah, I think it is the whole package with him, because he's from what I see one of the best midfielders in the league, and especially suited for the way that we want to play. I don't think I can find midfielders that will be a better fit for us than him. It's at least very, very few in the league. So it is the big package. But I think with him, it's also the things that you maybe don't see. It's all the communication in there. It's all the small adjustments. It's all the talking to teammates. Sometimes winning fouls and in critical moments of the game, just to kill the pressure from the opposition just a little bit. So it's all this experience beside the technical and tactical stuff that he can do, and I think that's what we have needed here. 3-4 games without him, and that's I hope we can see the effect straight on tomorrow.
And maybe the flip side of Cordoba goes away internationally and comes back with a slight fitness issue, but he, in a spell where he's not playing club games, he did go and get a decent amount of minutes, so it's ticked him over maybe in terms of action. Yeah,
it was good for him. It was good for him to still have some game minutes, and actually also the same with O'Neill, that he could go away. It was not ideal that he played 90 minutes, and it was not what we had planned for, and also the advice that we gave the national team. But that's how it is. They can do what they want as long as the player is available. But a little bit the same with O'Neill. Now he played those games. He have these minutes in the body, so and in the system. So also makes the integration for them back in the team a little bit more smooth for us. So actually okay.
Clearly no Kellen Fisher tomorrow night. He's suspended. So safe to say, is Ben Creseni very forward in your thoughts for what you do left back wise? Yeah.
He's definitely an option.
But the reason I throw that in, it's an obvious one, isn't it? Because he's an established left-sided player. But a little like you said with Mankwa after the weekend, that if we trust in these guys, we bring them into the club. At some point along that journey, you have to give them opportunities. Yeah. You did that on Saturday. Is Ben Creseni maybe in a similar category? Yeah,
he is. He's also one of them where he had a good start with the team, but then he struggled a little bit. I think both tactically and technically with the team, finding the rhythm, finding the flow. And then when we decided to look at some of the other players and play them instead, we found that rhythm, we found that flow, and also the reason why we didn't change too much. So now he needs to show the team first and foremost that he's been training well and he's been doing well and he's been doing everything he can. He needs to show that tomorrow. I highlighted Jack the other day because he's been a super professional, and then also meaning that he could actually step in and also play 90 minutes, which was not expected, but he could go through it, which is important. But really also I was pleased with his performance because it tells something about the character in him. Ben needs to do the same tomorrow, and hopefully he can if he can just replicate what Jack did in West Brom, I'll be more than happy.
I was going to ask you that actually. There is a parallel there. One is a very younger fullback, just starting out in their career. One's more experienced.
Yeah.
From a man management point of view, do you treat them slightly differently? How you message things to them and how you keep them ticking over when they're not playing maybe the minutes they'd like to play?
Yeah, we do. I think it is important that every player we need to treat them different. Of course, we have a frame, so everyone know exactly what they can do and what they cannot do. They cannot step outside of that. That's it goes for everyone. But inside that frame, we have to treat them differently. And there's a difference whether you have played 200, 300 games in this league or you're new to it. What we try to do is that we make sure that we give them feedback on a 14-day cycle. So we reach the players, we get to them, we talk with them, we give them feedback. They know exactly what they can expect and where they are in the group and what we expect from them. So there should not be anything that they are confused about or not informed about. And then again, these conversations can be a little bit more tough sometimes, and it can be a little bit more supportive sometimes, depending on the player, depending on his position in the group. And we have had some talks with Ben, and it's been both here and here.
Yeah, in between, no doubt as well. Moving on, Emi Marcondes, we saw with both his goal and that key role he had in the second goal is a real good addition to the group. What is for you now his best position? Is it one of those three in the central midfield area? I know you had a look at him in the false nine against Bristol, but can he be more effective in that area of the pitch, do you think?
I think his best position is that position where we played him against West Brom, where he is just behind the striker. He is an offensive midfielder. We need him once in a while to drop a little bit deeper to support the guys, especially in the first phase of our build-up game. But then as soon as possible, we need to move him further up and in between the lines. But I think he's a very good runner from that position in between the lines to go in behind them. He's a very good runner at anticipating where crosses can end and where he needs to arrive, which we also saw with the goal. So I think he's better when he has a striker in front of him and can use the striker's movement and position to find that space that will open up. So I think that position where he played against West Brom will be his, for us, best position, and we try to bring him into that.
And obviously you referenced that into play with a striker. You went again with Ante on Saturday. You more or less said it's probably too soon for Arnell, even though he came on and replaced him.
Yeah.
With Ante again, he's a very young man and making his way and having to adapt on and off the pitch. I mean, how do you see that at a minute? Because maybe externally there will be this kind of those who are saying give him time. He's a very young man making his way. And there's others who maybe feel, well, we'd like to see a little bit more from him now. Where do you sit on that?
Yeah, but I see the same. We need to see more from him, but also see what you just highlighted for me here, that he is a young man, and that maybe also. Again, what I also 100% sense from the fans that they understand that it is a different profile of player that we bring into the club now, where if we bring in a 30-year-old striker, we can expect that he from day one will go in and impact the game and be a top striker for us. But when we bring in a player from another country in a young age, then we cannot expect it immediately. But still, we can have expectations. So it's about finding that balance, because I need more from him, and we also made it quite clear for him here the previous weeks that there's something about his movements, his timing that can be better, so we arrive in better situations. We've had some meetings with him to highlight that, and the coaching group is working really, really hard to make sure that all of these players, especially the young ones, we integrate them as best as possible, and we give them clear feedback. So I actually think the positive side against West Brom was that he ended up in more of those situations. He had a big chance where he should score in first half. He have another one in second half where he maybe gets a touch to the ball, the Kellen Fisher cross, which is also a big chance, but he's in a really, really good position. That's the first thing we can do. Now, of course, we need the end product, and that's not something where we just close our eyes and hope it will come. No, we make it very, very clear to him that we expect that it will come. We need something. We need some goals from him. We need some assists. We need some presence also from him. But I think West Brom was a step in the right direction, even though not perfect.
And on that front, I mean, you saw the strike that he did score at Stoke. That wasn't an easy finish, the way he controlled that. So in terms of his, and clearly brought him in because you've seen what he's done in Poland primarily last season. He is that. He is a good finisher. He's technically very good in the final third, isn't he?
Yeah, and he has a good left foot. He can. I like when he goes from outside in and can just reverse it a little bit. It can also go for the second post. I like his finish in Stoke. I think he have had several opportunities also in the games where he came from right side and in, and now it's a little bit different position for him and maybe more first touch finishing, which he needs to, of course, develop and improve. But his movements were better against West Brom. Then, of course, also his headers, which needs to be a big threat when you look at him. That's also something we have to improve. I have a big belief in him, and I think he will be a very, very good striker for the club. And I believe in that in the future we will look back at this time and say, okay, that was a start for him where he needed to integrate and find the rhythm and get experience in the league. But I also really, really hope and believe in that we in some months will see an even better striker and a striker really deciding the games for us.
Just moving it on, obviously, to Plymouth tomorrow night. I mean, talking of strikers, funnily enough, that their manager is one of the best players probably England have produced. But as a coach, I'm interested what you've made of his coaching journey and maybe the style of play he's bringing to Plymouth so far.
Yeah, I think that's a difficult one. It's not a difficult one that he was one of the best strikers ever in not this league, but a league on a even higher level. So that was fantastic. I think when I watched some of the first games in the season, I actually thought that Plymouth was one of the best playing teams, and they had some good structure, they had some good positions, some good movements. They also bought an offensive midfielder from the Danish league, Rami Al-Haj, which was, I think, a perfect fit for that team and the way that they played. Then they changed the structure and formation just a little bit, and of course maybe affected a little bit by the results, a little bit more protective, a little bit more direct in their approach. So what we have to prepare is both, that they can show up tomorrow night and do both, and we have prepared for that. Me as personal, I think they were doing well when they were trying to build from the back and creating some of those good moments, and I think actually without knowing Wayne at all, but I think it is actually his plan with the team, but of course he also needed to look at how to get some results here and now. So that's what we plan for and prepare.
As you say, I mean, you could probably identify with that you maybe have to be a little bit more pragmatic. Certainly in the Championship, how brutal it is, when it might not be quite the pure essence of how you want to see your team playing. But the reality is, it's a pretty unforgiving league, so you almost have to tailor it a little bit. Do you feel? Yeah,
it is. But again, end of the day, only talking about me and us and what we do, I think what we have to do is just stick to the identity. And if someone want to kick me in the ass and say goodbye to me at some day, then I want to make sure I walk out the door here and I've done everything I can within the style that we want to play, and bringing up some young players, giving them opportunities, making sure that we give them feedback and we develop them and we improve them, but we dare and we show courage every time we play. That's for me, that's for the coaches, that's for the club, that's who we want to be. Does it come with risk? Definitely. Does it come with situations where we sometimes look stupid? Definitely. But hopefully, and also what we have seen so far this season, is that we can also show these moments of top level. We need consistency, we need to be even better, we need to make sure that we're not so easy to score against, and we need to make sure that we consistently can play on this high level. And yeah, with the belief I have in the group of players here and in the club, I think it's just a matter of time. And you know me, I'm not that patient, so I hope that time is tomorrow night. But if it's not, then there's another game, and we just have to make sure that we can perform even better.
Thanks, Johannes. Good luck tomorrow. Cheers.
Thanks, Paddy.